It's Marlee. It's day 55 of 365 of me going live. Tonight is Color Week day 4. I got my sisters with me tonight. Robin's here and Tia's here for the first time to join us on 365 Live. Hey, Tia.
Hi.
So tonight I promised y'all that we would end Color Week with talking about how to have color longevity. So they have some questions too, so I'm gonna let them chime in, and speak for the people. Hey y'all, happy Saturday. So when we think about longevity of color, right? We are putting artificial pigments on our hair, right? Something that doesn't naturally live there, which means that we have to use certain shampoos, certain treatments, certain products to keep our hair healthy on our hair after we have it colored or lightened, right? So Robin just asked me, do I put treatments on her hair after I color it?
I did ask that question because you don't tell me what you're putting on my hair.
I don't tell you.
No.
I just do it.
Yeah, which is fine because I trust you. But like, if you don't tell me, I don't know.
I'm pretty sure I told you. I may not tell you every time, but at least the very first time, I told you what I was doing and why. Which was over a year ago. We're talking about 2 years ago when I first did your color. You don't remember that?
I don't, but...
Okay, so for those of you who don't know, I did Robin's color, 2 years ago? And she first had red. We started off slow. For y'all that don't know, Robin has locks. So Robin goes longer than most without washing her hair or restyling her hair. Not like that. But your hair
it don't be that long, y'all.
That's not what I was saying.
That's
not what I was saying. Misma said, hey.
Hey, Misma.
So anyway, but I did her locks. We did highlights of red first because she wasn't ready to fully commit. She wasn't ready. And then once she had just a little taste of it, she was like, oh no, we ready to go full force. And then we even lightened it more. So every time that I've colored her hair, I've put a treatment on it specifically because you had red. Red is a color that doesn't like to naturally live in the hair. It fades very easily. So she was getting it touched up all the time because it easily rinses out. So I used a color sealer on your hair to seal in the color so that it would last longer than normal. And you didn't know that.
I didn't, but I'm glad to know that. Yeah, I'm glad to know.
You're glad to know.
Glad to know.
Now she has purple. And we also put color sealer on her this time because purple is also another pigment that doesn't like to stay in the hair. Misma said, at least you don't get deep playing in your head every time you see a sink. You know what? We're gonna leave deep by Blackstreet.
Every time you see a sink?
Yeah.
Can you tell us?
What happens at Hampton stays at Hampton.
I mean, clearly it doesn't because y'all be dropping subliminals like all the time. Y'all might as well just unpack this stuff.
Because that's the one. Kim said that her hair color is red now. Yes, we love red. But yeah, okay, so since we gonna tell it, Misma. Okay, so might as well. Y'all know I used to stay in a dorm all 4 years, and I would do hair in a dorm. And so everybody would come to me to get their hair done. And Misma said, go ahead. There was this one time, were we giving you a relaxer? Because I can't remember. I guess I was, because I was making sure that the relaxer was out of her hair. Otherwise, she could have just washed it herself. But I think we were giving her a relaxer, so we were washing her hair in the sink. And you know, first off, HBCUs don't have no big sinks in the dorm. She said, yes, I was. So, like, small sink, me and her, with a cup, because by the time her head, then all of her hair, like, we was doing all this. And so Misma and I have a lot of inside jokes, right? But that night she started singing deep because I was like pouring all this water on her and she felt like she was drowning. So that's where she said she got a big head.
Okay,
Kitchen beautician, dorm beautician, all of that. So that's where the inside from deep comes from.
Okay, got it.
So, yeah.
We've been there. So
different colleges, same thing.
Yeah, like you had to do what you had to do. So yeah, and Misma also has thick hair, like a lot of hair, and so that was back in the day. That had to have been like my sophomore, junior year, one of those two. So yeah, good times. But yeah, so you have gotten treatments.
Okay.
You've gotten treatments.
You say so, sis. I believe you.
Do you think that I was skimping on treatments for you?
Do you think you were skimping on treatments?
No. Why would I do that?
I mean, for you to ask that question makes me feel like you are questioning whether you skimped or not.
Why would I do that?
I don't know. Ain't that what it sound like to you? A little bit. Why would
I
somebody ask
felt
me
like she sounded like she had no faith in me.
True. She just didn't know she was getting them. She just was coming to get her hair done.
Basically. Misma said that night was ignorant. Then I went to the calf before she finished drying. I don't remember all that. But that absolutely could be true, because if you know me, you know that I'm going to eat. So, Misma, I apologize for leaving you. To dry while I went to go get something to eat. But yeah, so when we think about longevity, right, it's all about our hair care afterwards, right? So specifically for someone who has lightened their hair, and I know, Tia, you were talking about blondes and breakage. I feel like that could be a whole series in itself. Blondes and breakage. That's money right there.
That's the like one color that broke my hair off.
So we talked about earlier this week, there are safe ways to do it now, right? Where we have lightener with bonder inside. We have hair care and treatments that have bonder inside that continue to rebuild the bonds afterwards. But most people are not using them correctly, right? So we have all of this new innovation, and we have oh Lord. I'm not even reading that. I forgot what I was saying. Oh, new innovation and lighteners and trying to protect the bonds of the hair, right? So basically, think of bonder as like your insurance, that it's not going to lift you too high and your hair isn't going to break afterwards. So it's like, think of like a mirror, right? So if you crack the mirror, if you break the mirror, it shatters into little pieces, right? Think of that as lightener, right? So the mirror is your hair strand. So we've got to break it into little pieces so that you lose your pigment, right? When we have bonder, it fills the mirror, right? So you get your light pieces. Your mirror is still breaking, but there's a seal on there so that it doesn't shatter into a million pieces, right? So it's still healthy, it's still lightening, you get your brightness, but your hair strand is still intact.
Why is this the first time I'm hearing bonder? I never heard that.
You've never heard of it before?
No.
Yeah. So I use lighteners with only bonder specifically when I'm doing textured hair because, first off, our hair is already so fragile. We're already doing a million things to it. We're already using products that we shouldn't. We already have buildup from gels and edge control and all of those things. So when I go into a lightening process, I already know that we're dealing with hair that isn't at its best state. It's not healthy. And it's just the majority. It truly is. So I want to be able to protect it. That's how we can protect the integrity of the hair. You're not losing any curls. You're not losing any length. It's just the insurance of the process. So then after that, right? So it is still lightener, which means, have y'all ever heard of, well, I'm sure you've heard of the pH scale. Mm-hmm. So when you think about, hey sis, our sis is on here. Alicia's on live.
Alicia, stop by.
Alicia, stop by. We want you to come over. Okay, so the pH scale. So the pH scale is 1 to 14. Okay? Mm-hmm. 7 is the middle of the pH scale. Do you know what has a pH of 7?
Water.
Water! Good job, sis! Yes, we are still up. We are still up.
Come over.
And we want you to come over.
Tia's here.
Tia's here. Do you know how crazy it is that we really be repeating each other?
I know. Saying
in like different inflections.
Like the same.
And I noticed that today.
Mm-hmm. Same things.
Same things.
Yeah. It's a twin. It's a twin. It's like we're twins. You and your twin do that?
We used to.
That's my twin sister.
There you go.
Yeah. Okay, so anyway, so we're talking about the pH scale. 7 is water, right? So above 7 is alkaline. Mm-hmm. Below 7 is
basic.
No.
Acidic. Acidic and basic. So basic is alkaline.
Because I'm drinking like 9.5 water.
So basic is alkaline.
Yeah.
Okay.
No. Oh, you talking about the brand basic?
No, I'm talking about the alkaline. Like you said, above is alkaline. That's basic.
No.
If you think basic and acid.
Somebody
chime in who took chemistry in high school.
Alicia said on her waist scarf and all. I know that's right, sis. Listen, y'all better get hip to my tail, okay? Like, period. Always down for a good time.
Let me go ahead and clarify this real quick.
Okay. Please. Anyway.
Acids have a pH balance, pH below 7.
Yes.
Bases have a pH above 7.
What's a basis?
Bases are alkaline. Like you said, alkaline. Bases.
I don't know what a base is.
So if something is above, that means that it's basic.
I don't know what that is. We didn't learn that in hair school. We learned about alkaline and we learned about acidic.
Yeah, I just know alkaline water like 9.5.
Exactly. So that water has a higher pH level than normal, right? Okay, so do you know where hair lives on the pH scale? This is a little mini quiz. Mm-mm. Does anybody know where hair lives on the pH scale?
Hair on the pH
where
scale?
your hair naturally lives.
I don't think it's acidic. I think it's above 7.
Okay.
So,
what do you think?
Can I give my number?
Yeah, you can give it. Yes, you can give your number.
I think that it's about an 8.
Okay.
I thought it was a safe number, like 8 or 9. It can't be 9. 8.5.
8.5.
Mm-hmm. Oh.
Why y'all look scared?
We just waiting on you to say something.
Meesma said it's Saturday night, no quizzes. Okay. Does anybody in the chat? Does anybody know where hair lives on a pH scale? I will tell you that it is below 7.
6.
5. 4. 3. 2. 1.
Blast off.
0.
No. Okay.
So hair is acidic?
Hair is acidic.
Like
Misma said 4. The answer is hair lives at 4.5 to 5.5.
What?
Yes, your hair is acidic.
I would have never guessed that.
my hair is not acidic. My hair is alkaline.
Because you drink alkaline water?
No, that means your body is alkaline, not your hair. Your hair is acidic.
But what makes hair acidic?
That's the way it lives. That's the way it naturally lives at a 4.5 to a 5.5.
So
What makes your hair alkaline? So that would be hair color, getting it lightened, getting a relaxer, getting a perm. Any type of chemical is going to raise it.
What about when you put water in your hair? What does that do?
Nothing.
But
water hydrates your hair.
But water is a 7.
It is, but your shampoos are more than likely acidic.
So can you buy alkaline shampoos?
But
No.
what if you wet your hair? You know how people just be like wetting their hair and then they walk outside with it like that. They don't put nothing on it. That's how I used to do when I was a kid.
Your water isn't going to make that much of a difference to your hair. It's the product. And I wish that I would have prepared this. Maybe I'll do it tomorrow to actually show you water, the pH of water, with the product, how it changes the pH and hair. I'll do a little experiment for you all to show you that it truly does work, right? But specifically talking about our blondes, right? When you lighten, you take the hair to a 14.
Oh,
right?
that's double.
It is very like you're using chemicals. So lightener lives at about a 14. Your hair color, because you're using developer, you're using peroxide, you're using things that are lifting the hair ultimately. So it could live somewhere like around a 10. So it's lifting the hair. So to bring it back down, we have products with a lower pH. It's going to bring it back to an acidic level. So for example, let's take relaxers, right? We know that when you use a relaxer, that also takes you to like a 14. You're breaking the bonds of the hair. But the first thing you do is you use neutralizing shampoo, right? Neutralizing shampoo brings the pH back down. Did y'all know that?
Now that I know that perms are alkaline,
Mm-hmm.
it makes sense that they say add the whatever to the base. See, remember that?
Yeah.
Basic.
Chemistry.
Y'all better learn about base and basis and basic.
I mean, those two chemicals coming together create a reaction. So, yeah, I see where you're coming from, but I learned alkaline and acidic. So, I didn't learn about bases. I don't remember learning about bases. But, I mean, educate me, sis.
No, you teach the people. Go ahead. We are learning.
So, anyway, okay.
We
so
really are learning. I'm taking
So, anyway, but you want to use... So, you hear me talk about Shades EQ all the time, right?
What does the EQ stand for?
It's just the name.
Oh, I thought it meant like equalizer.
I mean, kind of. But it's just the name.
Okay.
Maybe I will have to ask my my Redken OG what does EQ actually mean. I don't know that I've ever heard that it actually means anything. But Shades EQ is an acidic color, so it deposits only. And my non-negotiable rule as a colorist is that if I'm going to lighten someone, I'm going to tone them with an acidic color, which is Shades EQ, to bring the pH back down and to tone the hair.
Ooh, pick me.
Yes.
Demi-permanent color?
Semi.
Okay.
Wait, no, is it demi?
What's the difference between
Wait a
demi
minute.
I just know it's
Can you fact check me?
What?
Now I feel like this is really bad. This is my educator brain going
What do you
down.
want me to check?
Shades EQ is a demi-permanent color. You were right.
I don't know. I'm just guessing.
Put in Redken Shades EQ. That's a demi-permanent color. This is terrible. And this is recorded live.
It says Shades EQ is Redken's acidic demi-permanent hair color.
Demi-permanent.
It is demi-permanent. No, I don't know why. Why did I go to semis just now?
Okay, so for those of us who are tuning in who don't know what either of those are, could you give us a brief summary of what the difference between semi and demi permanent color is?
This is a plug to go back and watch day 1 of Color Week because I broke those down. But to answer your question, so semi-permanent is, and that's how now I can tell you the difference. Semi-permanent is what I use on you. It is a direct dye only, which means there's no like processing solution. Like the color that you see is the color that you're gonna get. So when I do your hair, that purple that's in the bowl is what is gonna deposit in your hair. It's like that's what you're gonna see. A demi-permanent color, it has a mix of direct dyes and oxidative dyes. So that means that it has the power to stay longer than your semi-permanent color that's just gonna be one plain shade.
Got it.
I got another question.
Yes, ma'am.
So people say you can't color over color, but I've had like blonde that I did from the white people box and put demi over top, and it worked.
So there's an absolute rule that color doesn't lift color, right? So for example, if I colored my hair black and then just put another box on it and expected it to go red, it's not going to do anything. And you may see some sparkles of something, but it's not going to lift it, right? Now, you said that you use blonde first. If you use blonde first and then you're going to another shade, blonde is your highest shade, right? You can't get lighter than blonde. So anything that you put on blonde is going to magnify it. So for example, under this, Robin is blonde. So you can see her purple. You can see your purple because we lightened you first so that we can see the pigment. Did you not know that you were blonde?
Tell me you made my hair blonde now.
I knew that, and I'm a novice at this. I have never been able to get purple because I ain't tried blonde in a long time. You have to lift to a blonde before you can see pigments. You definitely knew that. You gonna tell me you didn't know that your hair was blonde, that I didn't lift you to blonde?
I can't remember.
I'll show you the picture. Because I have proof that you're blonde under that.
Let me go. I think I might have something. Let me see.
Anyway, this is a good discussion. So we talked about, okay, so pH definitely determines what treatments I'm going to use afterwards. We talked about longevity, and thinking about when to get it touched up, right? I think that it really depends on what color you get and what you want it to look like depends on how often you get it touched up, right? So let's say, for instance, I had a client who was gray and she wanted to cover her gray, but you could really see it up front. So when her hair starts growing in, you could see that it's gray. Those people definitely want to get their hair touched up every 6 weeks. and maybe even sometimes sooner than that, because they don't want to see it growing in. For Robin, we don't touch Robin up except for, are we at 12 weeks? Are we at 12 weeks? Or are we at 8 weeks? We're at 8 weeks.
I don't know.
But we touch Robin. I know, right? We touch, I think it's 9 weeks. No, we maybe put it at 8 because Robin gets her hair retwisted every 3 weeks.
I shifted to 4.
Is that where we got 8 from?
Yeah.
So every other time?
Every other time that I get a retwist, I get a color touch.
And it's only because once Robin's hair gets twisted too much, I lose the chance to get it fully saturated. So we want to retouch your hair before it gets completely twisted into your lock. Does that make sense?
To who?
You.
Yeah, I mean, this is the first time I'm hearing all this, so I didn't know that.
You playing games.
I didn't know that was why, like, you know, you said I should come every 8 weeks. But you didn't tell me why. But now I know. You just told me. Thank you. I'm learning with the people.
You really didn't know that's why I said every 8 weeks?
Not the part about, like, my hair saturation and maturation and, like, the over twisting. I didn't know all that. Sorry.
You are funny. You're funny.
I did not know that.
I know.
Okay.
I know.
Anyway,
but let's say that I had a client who didn't really want to commit to color. She wanted like a more grown out look, a more natural look, like, you know, like it's lived in. Someone could go up to like 6 months without getting their hair touched up if they had like a balayage or just did very subtle highlights. It could last a lot longer. So it really depends on how much maintenance you're looking for.
What's the balayage?
What's the question? Huh?
Answer hers first.
What was your question?
What's a balayage?
Okay.
A balayage is it's a painting term where you paint by hand, and it's used to create dimension in the hair, right? So the hair is not all one solid color, but it looks like it lives naturally.
Okay.
In the hair.
Well, all right.
What's your question?
You probably already addressed it, but for natural hair, what is the not treatment, but the ways to help colored hair continue to like thrive and not break off?
Wait, say it again.
Like, what products do you need to use when you got colored hair and natural hair?
Good question. So okay. It's not a deep answer, but it's a deep answer. There are, specifically when somebody is color treated, specifically if they have lightened and colored, I always want to address that first, because that means that you've had a chemical process. And your hair is more fragile than someone who is just natural. Right? So if you've had the chemical process, then you absolutely need bonder in your shampoo and conditioner. My system of choice is Redken Acidic Bonding Concentrate. So there is a pre-treatment that has the highest concentration of bonder, and it goes on before you shampoo. So that is what I use on Robin to lock in her color.
Something else.
So I use that.
I'm taking notes on all of this over here too.
Good. I'm glad you are. So I use that and I use that on anyone that I give color to, and I try my best to send it home with them so that their very first shampoo without me, they are to use that treatment to help, again, longevity of the color. And you're getting that bonder additive to your hair. And then there's a shampoo and a conditioner and a leave-in treatment that completes the system. So that's going to be the first thing that I recommend. If we're just talking about natural hair, then we're going to talk about, it's not that you can just use any type of shampoo and conditioner and that it doesn't matter, but what absolutely should be present in your regimen is protein and moisture. So it doesn't really matter where, depending on what your hair goals are is what I would recommend, but you always want a balance of protein and moisture. And that's because our hair is made out of 70 to 80% protein, 10 to 12% moisture. Out of 100%, those are the highest two ingredients that our hair is made out of. That's good information. So you need those two ingredients in your regimen. So treatment, shampoo, conditioner, whatever it is, you need.
So when people's hair starts breaking off, does that mean that their pH in their hair is off?
It could be.
Is it a what's the word? Concept of too much protein?
So that used to be a concept when. Can you go get the door? It's Alicia.
Oh man,
because I feel like one time when I grew my hair out, it broke off because I had too much protein. Like I was doing protein treatment.
So there, it used to be a concept when animal protein were used in hair products. Most companies do not use animal protein in the products anymore. What happens is it's vegetable protein. So those proteins technically go into the hair, and when the hair is full of them, hey sis, when the hair is full of the protein, it rinses down the drain. So you can't overfill it. It's just what the hair can take or what the hair needs, right? But most of us don't have protein in our regimen. So when we finally get it, our hair is like, oh my gosh, food, I need this. I need this protein. And so it does things that you haven't been having it do, if that makes sense. So yeah, but that's why you need a balance, right? You can't do protein all the time and you can't do moisture all the time. You have to have a balance of both.
She's answering all of our hair questions. Right,
Alicia, do you have any hair questions?
What's she? Did she go to the bathroom?
No, I think she's taking her shoes off.
I'm gonna go it out right this time because I got Marlee on my side.
It's so chilly out there.
And you already got your protein shampoo. Yep. So you're halfway there. So people, this is the end of Color Week. We will absolutely be revisiting color. But next week is social media week. We're going to be talking all about, I don't know, I haven't decided yet, but I want to give social media tips. And we're going to have a good time. Also, today we launched the podcast. We launched the 810 podcast.
But before we move on, I just want to say thank you for educating us tonight.
I did.
You're welcome.
Thank you. I appreciate it.
You're very welcome.
I just told her the same thing. But yes, we launched the 810 podcast.
We did. We launched the 810 podcast. So y'all go check it out.
We're trying to get to 50.
We're trying to get to 50 listeners. Or 50, what is it called?
Something.
50 plays. We're trying to get to 50 plays on the 810 podcast. We dropped our podcast.
Oh, it's too damn much.
You didn't know we were dropping a podcast?
No, I thought it was YouTube. That was the last I heard.
No, we dropped a podcast today.
Oh, you just dropped it today?
We dropped it today. Episodes. We dropped 10 episodes video and binge listen.
Oh, Lord. You should have let me know. I could have listened to this one.
We doing a lot.
A lie.
We are.
Yeah. Yeah, they launched earlier today. So y'all go check it out. I'm going to put the link in my bio so that you can go and listen to our first 10 episodes. We have been talking about Once Upon a Time, recapping from season 1. So we are
just
10 episodes
all of your favorite shows. That just stay tuned.
So, let us know what other shows y'all want us to do. They're trying to get me to start Reasonable Doubt. We'll see. I don't know,
I think that's a good one to start. Like, I think that we can, I think that's a good one to, like, we could do, like, 2.1, like an episode 0.1, like 0.2, 0.3, like, we could do an episode for Once and then do an episode for Reasonable Doubt, like, post them together. Same day. The pressure.
That's a lot going on. That's your sister, though. Okay, so, y'all, it's day 55. We'll see y'all tomorrow. We love y'all. Thank y'all for joining me on today's episode.
Absolutely. Yeah. Alicia, did you have any hair questions?
I don't.
Okay.
Anyway, we love y'all. We'll see y'all tomorrow. Have a good night.